Okay, welcome everyone to the My Library is Ask Us Anything session. The topic of today's Ask Us Anything session is public school library partnerships. And I want to first note that the My Library is advisory team has been responsible for helping organize these events. We've had some great ones. If you are looking for previous sessions, we did one on binge boxes, and we also did one on escape rooms back in August. So if you want to see recordings of those exist on the Rails YouTube. If you just go to youtube.com/Rails Libraries, you will find it. And we are also recording this one. We're going to just record the first part of it. We're going to record the presentations. And then afterwards, we're going to stop the recording and then do our Q&A with our presenters, or our Ask Us Anything session. So here's a little bit of what today's agenda looks like. I'm going to do a brief welcome and kind of overview of the My Library Is campaign. I'll talk a little bit about some of the campaign resources that we have available for you. Then we'll get to the heart of our presentation, the heart of our session, which is the presentations. We have three great presenters. I tried as best to find an equal balance of public and school library representation. Unfortunately, we only ended up with one school library. It's a little unbalanced, but I'm excited just to hear from all the perspectives of people out there. Then we'll do the Ask Us Anything portion of it, where you could ask the presenters questions. The presenters can offer their tips and resources, as well as contributions from anybody in attendance. That's what I love about this format, is anybody can contribute ideas and perspectives. And then we'll come together at about 4:30 and we'll close it up so that you all can get on with the rest of your evening. Okay, the My Library Is campaign. This is Rails campaign to help libraries tell their story. It's become a statewide campaign, so we have participants from all over Illinois adding their stories, submitting things like marketing plans, videos, social media posts, everything out there. So we have a whole website devoted to it. It's mylibraryis.org. And we also do events like this. We also give away grants in connection to the My Libraries campaign. So we've really tried to put as much into it as we can. I really want to mention these talking points documents. These were put together 2 years ago, and they're great. I reference them all the time. I reference them recently on the IL email list when someone was looking for something, a one-page document that they could hand to administrators, principals. You could give this to, we have four different documents, one for each for the different types of libraries. So you could give this to, in the public library, you give this to your board members, or you give this to, people in your community or local elected officials, that type of thing. We also have academic and special library versions, so you can download those and use those wherever you feel necessary. And again, those are located on the My Library Is website. We also have the ability, you can upload your own video. So if you have a promotional video for your library, and this is for all different types of libraries, you can actually upload it to the My Library Is website. It's in the share and showcase section. We've had libraries post videos that are on a specific benefit or service, on a piece of software that they have available for their users, anything and everything. And we actually have some videos that you can download yourself and watch, or share in your newsletters or social media or whatever. So take a look at that. Finally, we're going to get to our presentations. So I'm very excited to introduce our three presenters, Jessica Banko from the West Chicago Public Library District, Linda Sawyer from the St. Francis Xavier School, and Norma Hacke from the Wauconda Public Library District, Wauconda area, Public Library District. So we're going to go in alphabetical order of first name. So we're going to start with Jessica. Jessica, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to let you take over.
All right. Hi, everybody. I am the young adult librarian here at the West Chicago Public Library. So I handle school outreach with grades 6 through 12. Here that's set up with one middle school and one high school. We do have a lot of homeschoolers in the area too, but it's pretty small. So just the two schools for me. We offer a variety of different things for outreach for teachers to connect with me with. I created this pamphlet to let teachers in the district know what options that they have to collaborate with me and what resources the library has to offer to benefit them and their students. they can come to the library for a tour, and then an additional program that's included over here. And that ranges from book talks about just a particular subject if they want to follow curriculum, any newly released books. I did them like seasonal, kind of like you would do spooky reads and then cozy reads in the winter. And then Lincoln Award winners or any other award winners that they would like to, but that's kind of what we focus on for them. Research methods, just for best practices for researching and what tools we have in the library to help them that they can use when they're outside of their classrooms. We also, I created a mobile makerspace last year during the pandemic when we first came back. So that is also available to classrooms and teachers to come in for. We have a Cricut machine, a mug press for it, a heat press for that, some 3D printing pens, and then a whole bunch of other fun crafting things. We also have a sensory experience that is like an inclusive visit with stories and activities and movements and all kinds of fun things that we can do. The mobile makerspace actually can travel, so I will take that with me to the schools. I just don't wheel it out on the cart with it. I have like carrying cases for everything, but that can, and I have taken it to the middle school several times. We also offer these all virtually during the pandemic. That was the majority of how I was doing outreach. I also created a tour video of the library. So if teachers weren't able to come into the building, we could still do it that way, where I'll visit them virtually, show the tour and all the sections of the library, and then we dive into whatever we're talking about. I also included the databases here on the side that were most targeted to their classrooms. And I also work with their school librarians when they have like bigger school projects. There's an English project every year near the end of the year that they do for civics that we put out a massive display for. They can come in and choose books and find other researching materials here in the library to help with that. And then I this year created a monthly newsletter that I send through Library Aware to all of the teachers in the district. So not just the librarians. For September this year, I kicked it off with introducing myself and like a condensed version of that pamphlet I just showed you for any teachers who may not have known that this was something that was happening. And then I also like to include helpful programs that are going on for their students. This month and last month in September, we focused on college readiness. So it's also available for like the teachers if they want to come for them to share with parents and anybody out there really who wants to do it. And we're also doing that with other area libraries. So they're also reaching out to their schools. We have 130 patrons registered for tonight's like paying for college without going broke program, which is really awesome. Stats for this year, the first one I sent was opened and interacted with 22% of what I sent. And this month it jumped to 61% just in those first couple weeks. So teachers are interacting with it. I do have a couple visits scheduled with that, which has been really cool. They can just email me directly. And then I regularly stay in contact with the school librarians, both at the middle school and at the high school. For every program cycle, I also send them this small young adult programming guide that I make. None of our teens read like our massive newsletter. They don't care. It's got a bunch of things in there for kids and everything else that they don't want to look at. So I make this condensed version for them and I pass that along to the schools as well. So they will leave some out at the desk and then put some of the programmings up on slides in the libraries. Both at both schools, so the teens know what's going on as well. That has helped a lot. I had 8 kids last night for D&D, which is a huge jump. So I think them displaying them has made a big difference too. I also sent out instructions and paper logs for our reading programs. We're starting to do them year round now instead of just in the summer. So those are also sent to the schools. And if I'm at the school for a visit, I just leave a bunch of stuff if I can, pencils, bookmarks, anything to grab their attention. And I also like to bring a special goodie for the school teacher or for the school librarian, just to have some nice stuff. And then basically outreach has been really difficult in the pandemic, of course. During the times we were closed and the schools were still meeting virtually, I had monthly visits that were going to carry over with the self-contained classes at the middle school. So we would do monthly a sensory experience program, which was really fun. So we read a book and then do our activities, and those I work with the school librarian for directly. So I talk to the middle school librarian multiple times a week, which is really great. It's really important to cater that relationship a little bit. And then every year we do a massive outreach for summer reading. So I go in and I talk to the kids about why it's important to continue reading, the summer slide and all of that fun stuff. And I bring them some goodies and giveaways and explain about the library and what they can do over the summer. And that has also helped increase participation in our reading programs. And since we're doing so well in the summer, we decided to carry through every season, really. This year, we also went to a summer school orientation for teachers and paraprofessionals who were teaching throughout the summer, and did a similar presentation and talked to them about the summer reading program. And that led to about 10 to 15 additional tours and visits with the summer school classes between both young adult and the youth services classes. So that's been a big hit too. We also do a lot with after school clubs. Teachers here kind of get things set up. The kids are guided. They guide the programs that they get to do. So they change yearly. They're not always the same. So they're all deciding by the end of this week, actually, what clubs they're going to create and what they're going to do. And so I also offer to go after school to either have them come here. And that's what this first picture is. This is the book club that comes after school, usually once a month. We made color changing cups. We've done acrylic keychains with the Cricut machine, and then this month they'll be coming to do acrylic bookmarks, which is super exciting. So even just working with the after school clubs is super cool too. And I also try to go to any kind of like bigger events that they're having. I went to curriculum night this year so that I can talk to both teachers and parents and families about what's going on. And that's what this last picture is here on the side. This is like how I set up in the school library with goodies and information, and letting them also, if they don't know about the newsletters, so parents can sign up or other teens want to as well, and teachers. And then lastly, going forward, we're also working on updating our website to have a form for requesting visits for the entire library for all ages. Since we've had an increase in popularity over the summer after that orientation visit. So all of this information was also be on our website for teachers for when they're ready to reach out to us. And that's what I have for you today.
That's great. Thank you, Jessica. That's wonderful. So I have a question for you. This is the privilege of being kind of the moderator here. Is the special goodie that you bring for school librarians? What is it?
So for this year, I brought my first visit. I have like a lot of, library branded stuff. So I gave her a tumbler cup, a little tote bag, candy, bookmarks. I think I gave her like a deck of cards and headphones too. Like whatever we have for swag to give away, I try to bring her something a little special every time I go.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Okay, as someone who does outreach himself, I'm like fascinated. I'm like, what is it? What do you have for them? That's good. Okay, thank you, Jessica. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so for a different perspective, this is great again because we have two public library people. One's a school librarian, and Linda is the school librarian. Linda Sawyer is from the St. Francis Xavier School, and she's going to give us our school library side of things. So, Linda, take it away.
Thanks, Dan. It's really great to be with all of you. It's great to present with Jessica. I used to work at the Skokie Public Library. I started out as a public librarian in the children's department at Skokie, went out and did school visits to all the school librarians and had the pleasure of working with Jessica. So I'm thrilled to be here. I am the school librarian at St. Francis Xavier School, and that is a K-8 building, and we're in Wilmette. And coming from a public library to working in a school library, one of the very first things that I did when I got the job was reach out to the school services team at the Wilmette Public Library. And that would be Ruth Bell. She's the preschool outreach librarian. And then Alice Joseph was the school librarian, school services librarian. She just retired. And Eddie Berland, who's on this webinar I just saw, is the new school services librarian. And so I'm really excited to work with her in this new capacity. So we are a school of about 575 students on our campus, and we do have a preschool campus called the St. Joseph campus, and that has about 150 preschoolers from 2 years of age to 4 years of age. And so we really needed the support of our local public library. And so I'm going to highlight today some of the things that we do with them. And the first thing I'm going to highlight is the preschool services through Ruth Bell. So quarterly, Ruth makes herself available to come out to our school, both campuses, and do story times. So she'll do story times for the preschoolers on the St. Joe's campus. And then she will also visit our kindergarten students with themed story times. And then she'll also pass out material such as story time flyers and brochures that we then send home in the backpacks with our students. So it's that promotion of what she's offering and being able to, liaison between the two.
Sure.
We celebrate Family Reading Night every year. In November, and both Ruth and Alice would come and participate in Family Reading Night. They would be guest speakers or guest readers, I should say. In addition, they would bring books and could check books out to families if they had their Wilmette library card with them, as well as do library card sign up. And that was really popular because the kids would be so excited to see Mrs. Joseph or Miss Bell at school at night. And then one really phenomenal service that Ruth offers that we take advantage of a lot is the preschool storytime and STEM kits. Every month, Ruth does pickup and delivery of those bags. She has thematic storytime bags. And I think she's got about 30 to 40. That are available for us that we can request that come in a large bag. And I have a photo on a later slide, a large bag. And not only do they include books, but they include finger plays, song ideas, flannel boards. And those are invaluable. We use them and our teachers use them as well. So they've really gotten used to requesting those bags from Ruth. And in addition, she'll pull a theme bag for you if there isn't one on that topic, but if you're doing like social, emotional, and dealing with anger, she'll pull a great group of books and materials for you. And the STEM kits have been a great way for us as a school to try out some of these different, like the Bebots, the experimental seesaw. These are just a few of them that I highlight on this slide that our early elementary and preschool teachers have used a great deal of. And then when we, realize it's something that we want to use long-term, we'll go ahead and purchase it for our schools to have available. We also have teacher cards through the school. So we're able to get an extended loan period and grace in overdue fines. And then the school, if we should lose any materials, the school covers that. So those are the preschool services that Ruth makes available. And then for school services, and that's kind of first grade on up. In addition, Alice would pull teacher bags for us. She would also come and do research workshops for our students. We do, in middle school, we do a large science fair project every year. And so Alice would come and highlight the science databases. We don't have much of a budget for electronic resources. And I remember from my public library days, we'd spend a lot of money on those. And we would really want to make sure that the schools were using them. So so Alice graciously would come out and present workshops for our students on how to use those, and even, how to do searches within the different facts on file for science. And that really proved helpful. She also participated in family reading night. She, like Jessica, would go to curriculum night and do library card sign up for our families. And this is a photo of Alice outside of our Easter egg hunt, where she read some stories, and also we had Easter books available to check out and library card sign up available. Alice also was one of our hosts. We do a battle of the books with 2 other area schools, and she even served as the moderator for it. She said she wouldn't keep score. That was too stressful, but she was happy to put on her Alex Trebek hat and play book Jeopardy with us. She also would come out and talk about summer reading. And here's Alice getting ready to talk to the kiddos about summer reading. So we did a lot in partnership with that. In return for them coming out to talk about it, we would publicize through our regular e-newsletters to our families events that go on at the Wilmette Public Library, makerspace opportunities, volunteer opportunities. So we were in turn cross-promoting what they had available as well for our students to do over the summer. And then here are those preschool bags that Ruth makes. They come in this really durable bag. She drops them off and then she picks them up. So she really makes it very easy for us, because I will tell you, as a school librarian, it's really hard to get away during the school day to get over to the public library to pick things up. And so it's a huge help to have that van available and just, know that Ruth's going to drop it off on Thursday mornings. And so I just feel really fortunate as a school librarian to be a collaborator with the local public library. I think it's invaluable. We're all working towards the same goal of literacy for our students. And it makes a lot of sense to pool those resources together and work collaboratively.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Linda. I really appreciate it. And it's great when you have those relationships that can really, be strengthened. And some places have where the school and the public library are like right next to each other or across the street or stuff like that. But for that doesn't exist everywhere. And so to have the public library be able to come to the schools is a really cool thing. And I'm glad to hear about that. So. Okay, thank you so much, Linda.
You're welcome.
The final presentation is Norma Hacke, and Norma is coming from the Wauconda Area Public Library. So Norma, you are welcome to share your screen and take over.
Can you see it now?
Yep. You're on the present. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for inviting me. Sorry. My name is Norma Hacke, and I'm the Outreach and Programming Supervisor here at the Wauconda Area Public Library.
Hey, Norma, can I just stop you for a quick second? We're seeing the presenter side of things, the presenter, so we can see the next slide over. If you go back to the, if you go back to the regular PowerPoint and just do the presenter thing, you should be able to. Yeah, so go down to the bottom, and there should be that if you click that presentation. Oh, it's the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. It might be because I have it in. Let me see. Let me try this. Can you see it now?
Same thing.
Same thing?
Sorry. Are you using two different screens?
Yes.
Oh, that's how it goes. Okay. Well, you know what? This is fine. Let's just do this because the fix for the two different screens is probably more than I can handle.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what to do about that.
No,
but-
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. So anyway, the Wauconda Public Library serves School District 118, and which has 3 different grade schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school. So we have had a partnership with the schools for a long time. We offer field trips. We, do special presentations during like curriculum night, literacy night, and we have done teacher bags and all that. But this year we decided to restructure a little bit our partnership with the schools. So today I will be showing you our new model. And to start with, we identified we needed an outreach team. In the past, we had one person mainly dedicated to going to the schools and doing the outreach, the school outreach, along with a second person, which actually was me, a bilingual person. But everything fell into pretty much one person, which was a little challenging. So this year, we decided to create this as outreach team. And we have 3 full-time employees, one of them bilingual, again, me, and then 2 part-time employees. And that has helped. This staff, they're not only dedicated to outreach, they do have other responsibilities, but it really helps to have several people that we can count on. If somebody gets sick, if somebody has, like I said, everybody has other responsibilities. So creating this team was a very important part of this process. So our goals for this year is to visit all grade school classrooms, and at least once we want to touch every single grade school classroom. And I say grade school because we have tried with the middle school and the high school, and it's a little bit more challenging. We do other things with them, but we want to start with every grade school classroom. And our visit only lasts 20 minutes. We read a picture book, a nonfiction book. We bring puppets, stuffed animals, anything related to what we're reading. And we also bring a library flyer that includes a library card application. So that's what we're doing in visiting the classrooms. We do the same thing with the dual language classrooms, but in Spanish. We have a large population of Hispanic population here in Wauconda, so we have a lot of classrooms that with kids that speak Spanish. We also want to invite every K through 5th grade to come to the library for a field trip. And our field trips are usually about an hour. We have 20 to 25 minutes presentation of appropriate book talks, appropriate level book talks. We do games. We do talk about what we do here at the library and give them a tour of the library. And then they spend about 20 minutes checking out books, and they usually check out 2 books. Prior to the field trip, we send library card applications to the schools so they can send them to the homes. And then our goal is that every kid that comes to the library has a library card so they can check out books. We just started doing this in this school year, and our first field trip, we created 49 new library cards. So it really, helps a lot when we send ahead of time the applications. And there were only a couple of kids that didn't have a library card. And what we do in that case, we usually have, a card of discarded books that they can take, and we don't worry about, because we don't want to send them home with no books. So that's what we do in our field trips. Then we continue creating book bags for the teachers and the librarians. We coordinate with the teachers about special projects. Sometimes they want multiples of certain books, so we send them to the schools. We sometimes have to interlibrary loan them. And they use the school library card that has longer loan periods. And they take advantage of this. Same thing as Linda was saying, we send them in our van, we pick them up when they're ready, so the teachers don't have to worry about, using their own library card or having to pick them up. And so we help that way. We create monthly flyers so they can include them in the school e-newsletters, and we do it for all the different schools, from grade schools up to the high school, and we include information that is appropriate for their what's going on here at the library. We offer some space for special events, like we usually have the art show here or the middle school social studies projects. The library becomes like a museum, and we have a lot of families that come to the library because they want to see their kids' art or their projects, and then they use our big meeting room to do awards nights, etc. And we do a librarian's breakfast every year at the beginning of the school year. We meet here at the library. It's a very informal setting where we can just talk about what are their plans during the school year, how can we support each other. So that really, we just had it a couple of weeks ago, and it was great. The librarians come from all the different schools and their assistants, and we just create a nice bond with them. And then other stuff, like I said, we attend literacy nights, curriculum nights, where we, bring all our flyers, our newsletters, or other things that they invite us to do. We just, one of the grade schools is doing a one book, one school event. And so they ask us to read some chapters and record some. So, things like that. We participate in a lot of different events. So to be able to achieve all this, we have some key points of contact at the different schools. And of course, the principals, at the beginning of the school year, we talk to them and just make sure that they're okay with what we are planning to do throughout the school year. The librarians, like I said, they're very important. The team leaders, they usually organize the field trips. Of course, the teachers and the administrative assistants, they're important because they are the ones that approve the flyers that we send to the schools. So I thought I would share this with you because this has been a very effective way for us to communicate with the school and to schedule the visits. So we created a Google Sheet for the in-school visits. I did one for each one of the grade schools, dedicated 1 week of every month for each one of the schools. So we send them to the schools, and then the teachers can choose the time that they want us to come. And we have it all, the different months of the year. And so that way we can, once we have them in the Google Sheet, then we transfer it to our Google Calendar that the outreach team shares, and then we can assign who's going to what, presentation. And it's the same idea for the field trips. First I send the one for the in-school visits, and then whatever time I had left other than the 4th week, then we assign times for the field trips. And like I said, we already started doing them, and it's going really well. Then we also serve 6 different preschools in the area. Same as with the schools, we have had a very strong partnership with the preschools, but in the past, before COVID, we would go once or twice during the school year and do story times, and then we also invited to come to the library. But we identified last year that because of COVID, a lot of these preschool kids are not really familiar with the library. They have missed so much. So we last year we started creating story times, video story times, because we were not going to the schools yet last year. So we send monthly story times, and we send them a craft. And so let's say that our story time was about frogs, and so we created a simple froggy craft, and we send them to the schools, and that was really well received. We started seeing families coming to the library, getting new library cards, and just really becoming familiar with what we have here. So this year we are visiting every classroom once per season. We are also sending videos in between the visits. We invite them to come to the library for field trips, and we also do a lot of book bags for those teachers. So that has worked out really good. And we also do a preschool fair that, we invite we invite preschools from the area to set up a table to present for families that are looking, and this usually happens in January for families that are searching for preschools for their kids. And so everything that we have been doing so far, I can tell you that it has worked really great. We have had a lot of great response from the kids. We see a lot of kids that come to the library and say, hey, somebody came to my school and they did, talk about, we have one of the presentations about, cookbooks and cooking, and they are looking for the types of books that we are presenting. So it's a model that is so far working really great. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share.
That's great. Thank you, Norma. That's really great. So at this point, I am going to stop the recording, and